at 17 thinking, just at the time, that that's just such a cool concept, and so funny, like how she said it, but it started meaning so much more to me. And so the idea is that if we truly, and this is lifelong work, this isn't just, oh, now I know that I'm enough, it's lifelong work. And if we can live from the place of enough, then we don't have to go out seeking that stuff, and then we can be living on a higher vibration, I feel like. If we trust that what we bring, as we are, as we've come here today, we're enough. As we go out into the subway, we're enough, you know?
Well, now I know why she has 300,000 followers on social media. I want to give you something.
Yeah.
That's beautiful, but I want to give you something. Clearly there's enough people in this room that know that statement.
Yeah.
So I'd like you to say it for Sierra.
I'll say
So you can cue them in.
Yeah.
But I want them to have the opportunity to say it to you.
Okay.
So you can cue them in.
And 5, 6, 7, 8, and
You are enough. You are so enough. It's unbelievable how enough you are.
That's really cool.
Like that?
Yeah, it's really cool. I haven't had like a group, and I haven't taken the time actually to listen, because what I do love is that stage door I am starting to get people, like it was happening during Should Have Been You Too, there's like, you're enough, and I'm like, yeah, you're enough. And so it's like this, that's what I'm loving, because it's beyond what I do for a living now, so how I figured it, is what I do for a living is my platform for something even bigger, which I didn't realize and I didn't set out to do when I was majoring in musical theater at Millikan University. I wasn't like, I'll be the You Are Enough police. And that's what has inspired me and filled me, and I love that stuff.
That has to be awesome.
But thank you.
So then I know you went to school to be a performer, right?
Yeah.
You just said that. And you're saying you're learning that performing is just a vehicle?
I wouldn't be like it's just a vehicle, because it is. I am doing what is my soul signature,
Okay.
but it's becoming even bigger than that. It's like in the world that I'm in, which this wasn't the world. There was no social media when I was in college. I wasn't even really, I was still using the library, like for research.
The what?
Yes, leather-bound books. And so I'll take it back another step. Once I made my Broadway debut, I thought that, like most musical theater kids, that'll be it. And it's like, once you get your debut, and I never thought about, and then what?
Right.
And it's not from a place of lack, of like, oh, now what do I do? I've arrived, and then it was like, okay, my life just kept going. And I guess in my mind, in my young mind, I thought that life would stop or something. It's like, she achieved it, great, a good achievement. But I started getting letters from people that were responding to Ariel on such a psychological level I don't even think they realized. So I would get people who had attempted suicide because they were struggling with the fact that they were born in the wrong body, that they didn't like who they were, that they struggled with eating disorders, that with cutting themselves. Like, I'm telling, the most intense amount of letters coming, because Ariel represents, which I like, just get this in your head too, because it's crazy. It blew my mind. I'm like, this is what's happening, is that Ariel represents the girl born in the wrong body, in the wrong time, in the wrong place, with a father who doesn't understand her. She's alone. Love will take her. Like, it's so huge and psychological, we didn't even realize that. And so I was like, how do I can't become their therapist, and how do I respond to that? And I just simply started writing back, you are enough, love, Sierra. And that's enough. People just need to feel like they were heard. This is me talking now, looking back, but that's sort of where it started for me. This, like, how do I deal with this? I suddenly had a responsibility that I wasn't trained for. And then I became known for Christine in Phantom. And here's what Christine represents. She represents the person who loves the unlovable. So suddenly I'm getting the same kinds of letters to me, but it's to Christine. That's like, now I have a responsibility of, they feel like, here's somebody who will love me even though I am this. It's like, and I've struggled with all these things. So it's like these two characters that became my, how I'm known, I guess. They represent something so huge, and I would be a fool not to understand that that's what's going on. So my life's work became bigger than, people really come to the theater to escape and to see themselves through the characters. And I always think it's so funny, like I use Les Mis as an example because people are like, I relate to Fontaine. I'm like, but we're not 17 years old prostitutes in turn-of-the-century France, but we do, and had a baby that we gave up, like, but we're all like, oh yeah, I dreamed the dream, but it's just true that's like we are coming to try and be understood without us having to be vulnerable. And so our job as the actor is suddenly to be completely exposed and vulnerable, and trust that that is enough so that we can be this vessel for other people to, understand themselves better. You know what I mean?
No, and what you're saying is why I have always believed that social media got more popular, and I'm one of those people that, if anyone in the room knows what I'm talking about, rock on. When I was 13 years old, I had a bulletin board service in my room before any of the social media. I was on AOL and Prodigy and CompuServe and all that stuff. So I'm a big proponent to this technology, but what you're saying is why I don't believe live theater will ever go away, no matter TV or radio or anything, because you get to experience a real human doing a real thing in front of you, no matter how magical, or you're a mermaid or you're a 17-year-old prostitute, or whatever it is, right?
And we're accessible. I think live acting too, we are more accessible to people because they can find us at stage door. They know a place to send a letter. But on TV, when you do TV and film, you're in somebody's home, so they even feel even more connected. Suddenly, there's like a whole other level because, oh, you've been in my living room. I learned that from Tyne Daly when I was doing masterclass with her, and I'm walking down the street, and a bus load of cops are like, Tyne, because she didn't Cagney and Lacey, and they feel like she's their cool cop aunt. That's what she said. They think I'm their aunt because I've been in their living room on their team, and it's like,
No, that's because you represent something. Even though they know the Time's not the cop, right? Mm-hmm. But she represented something to them. So everything that you're saying is, I knew what you were going to say was awesome, but it's just wonderful. So when was that? And by the way, when you start answering the next question, I'm just going to turn your microphone down because she's ringing a little bit, right?
Is it because I turn it?
It's one of us. I don't know, try turning it that way.
Okay.
And we'll see if that fixes it. If not, I'll just turn the volume down. When you were in school studying, did you think like this? Or did that come later?
It came later.
So what was that? You talk a lot about Wayne, which by the way, one of my favorite quotes by him is, "Don't die with the music inside of you."
Yes, that's in my bio at School of Rock, actually.
Oh yeah, that is why we're up here today, is that one quote. That's the power of one person. We're both up here.
I know.
Right?
I'm going to get really freaky deaky, but I feel him with us right now, energetically. Like, even when you said it, just makes it, I feel like crying, and that's definitely somebody energetically with us. Like, he's about this.
But that's what the idea of leaving a legacy behind is. You don't need to believe he's in the room or his energy's in the room. You don't need to. You just need to know the essence of what he brought to the world, and what you all bring to the world has that kind of power.
Yeah.
Because I definitely have that. We're vibing up here. It's awesome. It's great. But when was that watershed moment? What was that moment that made you say, I have to think differently, or I want to think differently, or whatever it was?
I had never struggled with fear. I was not somebody who was, or at least I didn't know, I wasn't aware of it. And what is so cool for us, like doing School of Rock, is we watch these kids, and we are like, I think we said this, Emily, the other day too. It's like, fear is learned behavior, and doubt is learned behavior, and these kids are fearless. They're fearless. They, unfortunately, and fortunately, because then they'll get to rise from that, but they will know fear at some point and stop bopping around like backstage rooms. Like, one of our favorite kids, she just like literally like skips to her place and like skips on stage, and I'm like, I remember being that, and that's what